I need like a big iPad holder. Okay. All right. Let me get this going here. All right, bear with me. I need some books. Well, that's as good as we're gonna get. I'm trying to. Oh, I'm a wreck. I've not worn baseball caps in a while. Okay. All right. Hi. We are going live. I'm live on YouTube. I should put my link on there. Oh, and now that's in the way. Help, I need a production assistant. Oh, something spooked Diane. She's so fidgety. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm on YouTube. I'm kind of crooked though. Like, I have my microphone going. I don't know if you can hear that. I can't see comments on here. Oh, bear with me as I learn YouTube. I'm probably going to start. Hi, whoever's watching. I'm probably going to start broadcasting more on YouTube. Yeah, 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 to all the commenters. I just made a comment. I haven't even gotten any mean comments lately, and then I get comments about playing with my hair all the time. Anyway, I'm not usually a hat wearer. Boy, it looks pretty big in the camera here on my phone on Facebook Live. All right, and I'm live on YouTube. Hi, it's Sheena Collins. Live from Wisconsin tonight. It is Wednesday, March 11th. Okay, so lipstick on a pig. That's my title. You think I get like all this beautiful, like it's easy and like I do it every day? No. If you know me well, you have seen me at my worst, and I do give you snippets of it here on my Facebook page and my personal blogging of my experiences. I do this work to let people know that they're not alone. I've done it to raise awareness, and initially I did it to start to cope and to crowdsource with my situation that I had when I was diagnosed with breast cancer in the fall of 2020. I have I've been a chronic pain patient since 2015. I had a medical device fail in my body. So I have this, oh, and it was done exploring the issues behind my chronic migraines. Now, a good place to start if you have chronic migraines is orthodontics. And that's another topic. Like when you go through cancer treatment, oh, it affects your teeth and I could just I have a hard time, I really encourage women to do things, but I find that discussing my own story and telling my own experiences gives me anxiety. And I really prefer to share resources and all things like that. But anyway, lipstick on a pig. What am I talking about? Okay, like this. I mean, I don't. I'm not all dressed up, wearing my little black dress or anything. I just have my sweatshirt on and a baseball cap. At least I have my hair on. I might be stuck. I'm getting worried that I'm going to be stuck wearing a wig the rest of my life. It has definitely happened to people. I've been watching videos and it's very, very scary. All right, lipstick on a pig. Basically, it boils down to this. A lot of people like to say, hey, you don't look sick, and they see you at your best. However, a multitude of those days, they don't see you when you sit at home and you have not showered or changed your clothes in days. Excuse me while I take care of a couple things here. Okay, okay. All right. I'm dealing with dogs. Okay, I think we're okay, safe. All right. trying to keep everybody out of here because they bumped the table, and I know that the microphone picks up on YouTube. Oh, somebody's watching. Hiding. Hiding what? so, um, so yeah, okay, there's too much going on here. There's too much stimulation. Anyways, so nobody really sees you when you. Hi, Sandra on YouTube. How are you tonight? Thanks for tuning in. So, lipstick on a pig. People don't always understand, when you look okay, but you don't feel okay. And you reach a certain point when you live with an illness or a chronic condition that you don't want to. And yeah, hiding, kind of, wearing a hoodie and like my cap and stuff, it makes me feel safe. And a lot of times I put my hoodie up, but this sweatshirt gets tight when it's up. Um, and when you want to figure out it's really hard because a true when you're truly healing and when you are truly surviving and you are rebuilding a life that has been forever changed, as you hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for the compliment, Sandra. And you realize that you don't want to make the attention. Hi, Caesar. Thanks for joining us on Facebook. So, if you want, you can look me up on Facebook. If you're following me on YouTube, you can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com. The real Sheena Collins. Sheena has one E. Um, but this helps me feel comfortable. I guess I feel cozier, safer. I don't know, maybe it's like swaddling for an adult. I don't know. But anyway, you don't want to, you spend a lot of days feeling horrible. And so when you do things like out in public or you attend events, whatever it is, you want to have you want to look good, and when you look good you do feel good. I certainly do. It may not be for everyone, and you may be totally comfortable in your skin al natural and be all, hi Lori, thanks for tuning in, and be all Pam Anderson and stuff. But I'm not. I always feel weird like when I go to the dollar store in my pajamas with no makeup on or my hair on or anything like that. um and I know from experience that it's when you, at least for me, I feel better, and I look better. I may not feel better physically with whatever I'm dealing with for the day. However, I feel better mentally with how I'm doing for the day, and it's really it's pretty cool. So I tend to do better, and but my days are not the days they used to be long before living with chronic illnesses and chronic pain. And I do have my story about all that happened, and I tell this for awareness. And right now I'm really in the healing phase. I am in survivorship. Today I learned something, like, I really just want to shout, that totally made sense. I had a therapy appointment today, and we talked um, about rest, rejuvenation, and healing. There's a cycle. I think there was one more word in there, but my brain didn't catch it and I didn't write it down. But I remember the rest of the rejuvenation. And rest is not healing. Okay, so you got a cold. So bear with me. I'm getting over something. I think I have bronchitis and I'm still stuffy. But rest is not always healing, if that makes sense. Sometimes you just rest out of necessity. Your body is tired. Other things are still going on. So that is not true healing. And then rejuvenation, where you start to feel joy back, where you start to do things in life that you enjoy. And that repair. There must have been the rejuvenation. I think repairing. And I thought of it tonight. I look really really tired, and like right now, it's literally picking up the pieces of the last over 5 years and starting to glue things back together. And that's a really interesting place to be. And I don't want to post this and have it come across as, and I feel I need to, because often when we discuss medical things or we discuss things that ail us, you do get comments about, being the victim and blah, blah, blah. However, I feel that we really do this to teach people and to raise awareness. Okay, so rest is not does not resting healing does not always look like resting. I don't know, my therapist said it way better. I need to my chart her and ask what she said. um and today, lately, and it was literally, and I've been talking about it all week, how the last couple weeks absolutely wiped me out physically. No amount of Jedi mind tricks. I mean, and I avoided the Red Bull and, a lot of coffee. I'm trying to be as healthy as I can be and get myself there. And it's a very, very slow process. Well, the extra exertion ended up like egging on my chronic pain, and then being off the tamoxifen and going through the washout period of that. The tamoxifen was for I had my triple positive breast cancer that I was diagnosed with in 2020. So technically my cancer treatment stopped in September of 2025, so this last fall, when we stopped the tamoxifen. So tamoxifen is still active treatment. However, a lot of times for insurance purposes, it's not considered active treatment. There's this whole scope of things that we can go into and debate and talk about, all of that. However, I got up this morning and I didn't shower because that sounded like too much. A friend of mine who discusses, and she's written a book about what it's like to live with invisible disabilities and as well as visible ones, and the mindset and what it takes to go through that. Let me know if you're on YouTube, what noise, if you hear noises right now. The dogs, out, 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 get out of here, out. They're like, they know when Jack was a puppy, when I would like talk on the phone and ignore him, he would chew up my flip flops. Like, so, so where was I? Somebody help me remind me. But the microphone, let me know how that's going over there. But not people don't see me when I don't shower for days and when I wear the same clothes for days, except for my neighbors who see me go out in my bathrobe like Uncle Eddie from Christmas Vacation and get my mail or pick up dog poo or whatever it is I'm doing out there chasing down cats at 2 in the morning. And that are running around the neighborhood, and I don't know who they belong to. We have this black kitty that runs around the neighborhood, and I don't know if it's a feral cat or if it belongs to somebody. So if you let your cats outside, please put a collar on them so you know where they go. And I hate to see cats that are left outside. A friend of mine feeds a cat down by the old high school. It's a wild cat and it has one eye, and everybody, there are people that take care of that kitty. So I don't know how that's going. But anyway, I want to come on and advocate and educate. That's my goal. Share where I'm at. And that really made a lot of sense today. That rest is not always healing. True healing, what comes from when you are out of survival mode, when you are in a place where you feel safe, where just daily activity does not trigger anxiety and trauma. Like literally getting out of the house for me is very, very, very difficult. So when I take the time to get ready, today I did it because and I know I turned it in late, but I figure better late than never. I'm doing some fundraising for my annual college. I'm not wearing the Wisconsin stuff because that's where I went to school, But for my college, which is Wartburg College in Waverly, Iowa, that's where I got my Bachelor of Arts in Communication Arts with an emphasis in public relations. So that's a lot of why I do my storytelling on here and I use the social media. And, because this is kind of my natural background. And I feel that I have learned a lot. I and through sharing, I hope that it helps others. I don't know. All I know is through all of this, I've had the innate feeling to share and share honestly, share openly. Granted, there are a lot of behind the scenes, and this isn't the MTV's real world going on here. So there aren't like cameras in every room, or maybe Big Brother or whatever. I don't know. I don't own a television. I am one of those people, if they exist, and I'm sure there are. So I don't watch a lot of that stuff or anything. But I do read a lot. That's my spiel. I like that it has been hard since having cancer because I have to read and reread, and the comprehension is difficult. But more than that, tonight we're talking about looks and putting lipstick on a pig. You can dress up all you want and get yourself really pretty and put a great smile on your face. But ultimately, inside, you are still who you are. You are, and I'm speaking from a point of oh my gosh, I bet that my microphone is picking up the dogs. There are toenails clicking, and I'm sorry. They do this to me every single time. And Diane, there must be a weird frequency or vibration from the microphone because every time like I turn stuff on, she leaves the room. But then Jack keeps trying to come in here right now, and it's really annoying. So, um, yeah, but getting yourself ready. So I got myself ready today because I had to film a video. I had a doctor appointment. I went to it. I woke up, rolled out of bed. Everything takes me longer than expected. Just because that's the way it is. And I'm getting older. I mean, part of this is age. I also have to realize that I am X amount of years older than when my journey started with cancer. I mean, 5.5 years older, and that's a big difference. I was in my mid 40s and now I'm in my early 50s. So that is a lot of different aging. So what's natural aging, what's not, what's normal wear and tear, and all these things. However, I noticed that so many of us, when we would go to group therapy appointments at the UW Pain Management Clinic in Madison, Wisconsin, part of the UW health system, that we would all dress up. We would do our best to look our best. And, a lot of times because that was like our field trip. That was our Friday night out. That was with others that were like us, others that understood, others that don't look at you and say, hey, you look absolutely great, or the mean comments that people hear all the time. You don't look sick, you look fabulous. However, when I look back at pictures now, I see where I look sick, and I still don't see a perfect image of health in me. And that's a very slow change that's happening in my body. And it's frustrating. And I'm trying to be patient and work through it. So, but you can dress up, go out, look great, look like everything's perfect. But behind the scenes, there is other stuff going on. And this can be for anything. Anybody that's in a toxic situation, it's all over. But the thing is I got up today. I thought, all right, I had my therapy appointment. I looked like crap with her, and then I was literally like, I can't do today. I need to go back to bed. I made myself a cup of coffee because without my a little caffeine, I get a headache, and I live with a chronic migraine condition, so I do as much as possible to reduce headaches. And granted, part of reducing headaches is cutting back on caffeine. At the same time, I love, 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 love coffee. But I decided that, but I thought that, so sorry, some news is heating up here. So I thought about that today. So, and instead of going back to bed, I put some makeup on after my call. I got myself ready. There was a video to do for the Unite Day that was due on March 1st, but I decided I would make it and send it anyway, or use it as a promo video. I don't know. So I put that on my page. It's down there. Um, but I got myself ready, and getting up and getting going, getting the dogs ready is hard. And I've been also, um, when I working at nights, there are more opportunities for what I'm doing to work at night, and that is really really hard on your body. And the dogs are on a cycle where they're like, "Hey, lady, the sun is up. Get up, get up, get up." And that's hard. Some days they let me rest. Most days I wake up and I let them out, let them back in. And, anybody who's raised children, you're probably like, geez, lady, you've never had kids. No, I've never had small children. Um, but I have had puppies, and I have had kitties, and I also have had other animals. I had pet rats, I had bunnies, um, ducks, geese. So, yes. Anyway, speaking of lipstick on a pig, I grew up in Iowa, and that's where Waverly College is. Unite Day is March 19th, 2026. That's the day when the college comes together. All right. So, what I'm saying is, just because I look good, just because I come on here all put together, I do that because I feel better about myself. And when I come on here, and I don't even like to show myself looking horrible anymore. However, I am the person that went from showering every day, getting herself ready every day, putting her face on before her day even started, to the person that will wear the same clothes for 3 days on end and wait and shower. And then that causes issues because I have mobility issues and I can't scrub my back very well. So my friend Claire gave me this back scrubby thing. It's like a washcloth, and you can wash it in the washer. My back was really dry, like around my scars from the back flap surgery. There's I don't even want to talk about it. Knowing now, I mean, I'm still formulating my thoughts on um on if I what I would have known then. So, I and with what I know now. And it's classic hindsight is 2020 and all that groovy stuff. So, Ah, and I find my voice annoying lately. I'm kind of extra nasally. I've been dealing with this like respiratory thing that still clogs me up, and plus I spent a lot of time cleaning, and I think it disrupted and affected my everything. Um so I got myself ready. I take the long way round with the stories, I suppose. Let's see, how long have I been on? 23, 24 minutes. Um And so when I make an appearance and show up, I like to. And my wig needs to be washed and doesn't look very great. So that's why the hat. um, and I'm too lazy to give it a good brushing or spray it down. So just the hat. um, so yeah, you can run around looking good, dressed all snazzy, you know, smile on your face, and nobody knows that inside that you are feeling side effects from medication. You're tired. Nobody knows about the chronic pain you're battling. Nobody knows about the headache you have. Some people do. Some people that are, especially people that are close to you, they have the ability to read you, and they can tell. However, it's really difficult, and I still find it. I've been at this pain thing since 2015, and I'm over ever wishing that I will go back to the way I was. That's just not possible. and um, and also realizing that I may or may never, I pretty much may never have 100% relief. And I know everybody lives with some kind of ache or pain or ailment. But when it becomes a really toxic cycle with yourself, where it affects your mental health, where it does everything, that's why I promote therapy so much. And maybe it's just I view everything as triggers, and I a lot of people that I encounter in my life are people that have shared have had their share of great struggles as well. And some of their stories are just mind blowing. I mean, human stories are interesting. I always used to watch A&E's biography back in the early or in the late 1900s, like 1999, 2000. I used to be so glued to that. Like learning about other people's lives is so intriguing and interesting to me. Hey, I need a lighting crew too, as well as people on set. mm. Mm. So, yeah, coffee, love it. Trying to reduce it. Drink more water. And yeah, so that really sunk in with me today. Rest is not always healing, and that also ties into that looking good doesn't always mean you're healthy or feel good. And that's the moral of today's story on the Sheena show. I didn't renew my verified badge my verified badge my verified badge on Meta on Facebook. I made a business decision and decided it wasn't worth it because my earnings as a creator were not matching or making it worthwhile to continue paying for a verified badge. So, yes, it's still me. It's officially me. I am. I have barking dogs in the background, and that's another thing I've noticed since cancer treatment. Like my brain is dyslexic, like my thoughts are. It is becoming better. I also noticed like glitches in like stuttering, different things like that. So it's rather interesting. I mean, I've always been a fast talker and all that groovy stuff. However, I do notice, and when I was first starting to make videos, I would notice like I would say words opposite. So all these interesting things. I have all this stuff to talk about. But like I said, however, when I said the other night, I have a lot of adulting to do and a lot of things to get through, and that's part of my journey. I mean, it's one thing. I saw this video of a cancer patient who was from behind, and she said what it's like to walk through to walk into chemo, and the song Gangster's Paradise, I think it was, and it's that the line that goes, yea, though I walk through the shadows of the valley of death, and it was like pumping, and it made me choke up because, like, to be in that moment of trying to of working to beat something that can kill you, like literally every day you are walking in the shadows of death, and it makes me really emotional, and I find myself lately so emotional. It might be the full moon or something, and people can laugh at me and all, the red pill guys and whatever, so they can, you know they don't need to judge me because I am raw with my emotions, what I'm doing. But I'm really emotional lately. I notice a lot of people are. And it's probably, I certainly believe that the moon, I mean, it pulls on the ocean, it creates tides. Our bodies are made of water. I do believe that that influences things. As a former bartender and service professional, I absolutely believe that strange things happen on on full moons, okay? For reals. So, I really yeah. So I got ready today. I didn't feel the best, and my therapist said to me to look at what rejuvenation would look at like for me today, what rest and rejuvenation would look like. And all I could think of was going back to bed. But then all I could think of at the same time was about my mental health, like what's better for my mental health. And I'm constantly living this battle of what's best for my mental health and what's best for my body, and how they're so intertwined and affect. And I used to teach, mindfulness and stretching exercises and yoga poses that are really good for the body, and breathing exercises, and here I am, like, living in this such a changed body, and also coming to the realization that I'm I mean, I know I'm never going to be how I was, but I can work to be my best, and also do it in this aging body. I mean, I'm 51, I'll be 52 this fall, so I'm not that old. I'm in my early 50s. And but I want to try to be as healthy as possible in my 50s, especially since my last decade has been full of baloney. And now that the washout period of the tamoxifen is over, my chronic pain is roaring. I had an ultrasound last week, and let me tell you, there is pain. Like, right when I was first open with my doctors about what was going on with the chronic pain condition, how it developed. I mean, how I discovered it was chronic pain, what I went through. I have so much I can talk about it. And Oh, and that's really what the title of this, putting lipstick on a pig goes back to. It's some of us that live with the most awful things, walk around looking like we're okay, and it's misleading. And just because you don't look sick doesn't mean you're sick. And we live in a society where you are often judged on the way you look, the way you speak. People don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. And I'm speaking of this in terms of things such as, I look back to, I was, during the time of my divorce, I was going through severe medical issues. That's when my whole leg problem started. And because of my education, because of being able to talk well, because of all of that and putting it together, it is often used against one person, like against people, not just me, but people. And then also the same thing with when you are seeking whatever it is you're seeking for resources. When people see that you don't look good, or they see you out enjoying yourself, well, if they're doing that, they're really not that sick. Well, if they're out doing that, I'm not donating money to their fundraiser. I have seen and heard it all. I don't care what people's excuses are. And you reach a point where survival becomes so first and foremost that you really don't give a heck about anybody's words anymore. And my mother was always big at saying, about walking in somebody else's shoes. Always was. That, and to be kind to everybody, because you never know who it is that you might be sitting looking at, talking to, not to stare at people, because they might be Jesus in disguise, or they might be angels. And she always, always, always told me that. And I've always thought about it. And then Joan Osborne came out with the song, What If God Was One of Us? And I was like, oh my gosh, mind blowing. Like my mama, always used to tell me that. So, yeah, you can make yourself look really good, feel good, make yourself function. And I had choices today. Could I lay in bed? Could I hurt my mental health worse and worry about having to do X, Y, and Z? Or could I do things today that would help rejuvenate my mind, body, and spirit? Which is taking it easy. Um, it's was not soaking in the tub. It was being creative, using my creative side, feeling inspired by. I know that I said that, like, during Lent, I'm like, I'm done with Facebook, yada yada yada, and ultimately I was just really irritated with the earnings, like 33 cents more by March 11th. Like, I am highly irritated at this point. So again, so not worth paying for the verified badge. So I'm sorry, but this is really my page. I'm just not going to pay for the badge anymore, because the support was not there that I needed. It was there for a while and I needed it. The only thing I fear is, I think sometimes, like, Facebook gets malicious and, like, pulls your page down. I think that that's happened to me before. And hmm, so that's all I wanted to say. But I did get ready, and it feels good. And it's also a grieving process because you remember what it used to be like every day to get up, to always look good, to always smell good, to always have clean clothes on. And that's another thing, like my washer again. Oh, I'm struggling with laundry stuff. And so, personal assistance needed. Pays really crappy. um, yes. So a lot going on. I said I wasn't going to be on Facebook. However, all of a sudden I'm feeling this spur of creativity. I'm really feeling like I need to share it. I also do have that feeling inward, but right now I'm trying to process the thoughts. I've been having crazy dreams lately, so crazy. But I'm processing things and I can tell it because my dreams and so I'm working on that. And it takes extra to put things down on paper. Plus my eyes are really crappy and I don't know what's going on. I have an eye appointment. I think I might be getting cataracts. Cancer treatment can cause cataracts. Like there are all these things. Like I have this like salicylic lotion because I get these like little cysts on my arms because apparently your like new your hairs that like grow back don't like to pop through the skin. And I mean I cannot tell you like ah I have to watch the YouTube back later to see what this is like. Oh, and I always have trouble shutting off YouTube. Um anyway, yes. So that's about it. I just wanted to talk about that. And I like to look good. I like to present myself well. It works against me because the world has an idea that if you are sick that you should be in a wheelchair and look like you're sick, and then the world expects you to, well, what's wrong with you, why haven't you done this, blah 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 blah, blah. Or even like you deal with the narcissist, you learn who your narcissistic friends are. So well, geez, you've been sleeping for like 2 days, all you do is ever lay in bed, must be nice. Yeah, well, yeah, sure. No, it's not nice. It's hard to live in a world where your life is so unpredictable. And I'm sorry if you are in that place, if you live in that space. However, I'm here to tell you that you are not the only one. My message isn't just not for women, it is for men as well. It is for everybody. And I know we all suffer our own personal demons. I know we all have suffer from our own personal ailments. I know that we deal with that. I know that we all age. I know what's there. I know everything. But one thing I've learned is I have to stop judging my disability against other people's disabilities. And I have to realize how serious my disabilities really are. And I have to be really honest with myself about how I approach them and how I look at them because that affects my mental health. And my mental health also helps when it's better, it helps my body physically better. So it is so connected. I mean, I've already known this. So I don't know why in the last 5 years, like I forgot about this stuff. Why in the last decade of my life? Since the failed medical device in my body in 2015. Like really, this is really these are questions to ask. I see it and I realize how much of me I lost, and I'm surprised I kept going. Sometimes I look back and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like maybe I shared too much information and yada, yada, yada. And I'm a different person now. But it was, I have to realize that it was the perfect thing for the perfect time and what I needed to do. And lately, what's been bothering me is I've been seeing a lot of people post about, basically people that are victim shaming, or they say people are taking the victim approach and yada, 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 yada. And really what we need to do is we need to lift those people up and give them positive encouragement and things like that. But, there's also only so much lipstick you can put on that pig, too, like plain and simple. And I grew up in Iowa, so like I know about pigs, but I never put lipstick on one. However, we did have things like where we would raise money and have administrators in school kiss pigs. Like I remember doing that. I think I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I remember chasing pigs. Like the animal rights activists could get mad at me, but I remember chasing greased pigs at the county fair. And gross, I just got like saliva in my mouth, like Mr. Duffy in sixth grade social studies class. All right. Hey, hi, Holly. Hey, so it's Sheeta Collins. I like to bring my own sense of humor. I believe that's what got me through my cancer battle and my journey, plus my faith. And and apparently it was just not my time, and I decided that I would rather like live with all these like side effects and with chronic pain. And when, I know that at the end of it all that, I could be living pain free. And everybody always says, oh, at least they're not in pain anymore, like the things you don't want to say to somebody at a funeral. um and I could definitely given up not taking that route. And I know that there were times that I really considered and told my doctor that if it's a reoccurrence, that I didn't think that I wanted to, um I didn't think I could go through treatment again. And that's a reality, and that's something that I do think about. And I do think my faith brought me through, my community. I know that there are earth angels that showed up in my life that are absolutely amazing. And I don't know how I was so blessed, and it's really hard when, the people that you feel should help be responsible for making sure that you're whole and that you're healthy and you're helped somehow disappear from your life or aren't there. And that's a hard reality a lot of people face when you live with an illness. And it is hard. And there are expectations, and we have societal expectations. Um, it's just like, and I think of the Paul Simon song, I know, slip sliding away. I know a woman who became a wife, and these are the very words she uses to describe her life: that a good day don't have any rain, and a bad day when she lies in bed and thinks of what could have been. I've always loved that line in there, and I think about it. And I think about where we have to push ourselves, and I look back and I think about my grandma and how she herself lived with pain, yet she did not, she did what she could. And I think about all the pressure that was on her, and because of her uh, culturally expected roles. And, after cancer, I don't want to be fit in a box anywhere. I feel like I've always been wild and feral and free, and I just need to be with somebody to let me be me. Ooh, I think that's a new poem line. Hey, anybody else paranoid about, like, I'm just like, oh my god, do I got a bug on my face? That's funny, too funny. So the other day, so I think I had a tick. Like, I couldn't find it. Like, it was on my head in the shower, but it didn't hurt like when I pulled it off, and I felt it for a couple days. And I deal with, and it's not because I wear a wig, so I don't need those comments. But I deal with staph infections and different things that, and it likes to, I, and it's been this way even long before I had cancer, even long before I had wigs. So I get kind of like what's cradle cap on my head a little bit and weird things. So I have to use this medicated shampoo. Probably TMFI. So, but I felt that spot and I'm like, and like, yeah, I did it in the shower. I didn't even want to look. I didn't want to see if it was a tick. And there's this other creator friend of mine on here and she talked about how she had a spider drop in her hair last night. Like, let me tell you, like when like you find a bug, and I am not kidding you, on Tuesday or on Monday, and over these warm days here in Wisconsin, the ticks were out. I saw wasps out. Like, it was really crazy. The hornets. I don't know what's going on here. So yeah, and then today it's like freezing. I thought we'd get a lot of snow, but we really didn't. So I don't know if that's still coming or if that like kind of went bye bye. Um, yeah, so I'm really proud of myself. So I need to talk to my therapist and ask her about this rest rejuvenation and what she talked about. So today, what I needed to do for myself and what I need to do. And I don't know. I'm in this transition and this changing and this big adulting thing in my life. And it's hard. And I hate it. And I don't and I do whatever I can to avoid expectations or anything that puts me in a box. I try to arrange my life so I can rest, so that I can function, so that I can be part of a community. Um, and I hate to say it, but the web and stuff is a lot of times my social interaction. And I have friends that I can just see my friend Rachel right now. I invite you for supper over all the time. But here's the deal: it that becomes hard, and that takes a toll on me because that means making sure that and I know, and I go over there not beautiful, but like that means that I have to actually start my vehicle. I have to do all of these things, and if you know anything about spoon theory, and Mia, if you're watching this, what do you call it instead of spoon theory? I have to message you on that because I've been thinking about that lately. So it's yeah, I don't know. It's my duty right now to talk about this stuff. I firmly believe it and share my experience. And I think I kind of have for a long time, but now there's this shifting as I age. And, oh, dudes, I tore that dang rotator cuff. That arm is still like messed up. But that's also from my surgery too. Like I don't have all my mobility back, and that goes back to my back scrubby. And and my friend Claire also gave me this lotion applicator. Like you open it up and you squeeze the lotion in, and it has like little roller balls, and like you scrub it down your back. Like I feel like I'm 80. Like for reals. So anyway, we will see. And I think I need somebody to hold me accountable. I can't fit inside boxes right now. I don't have the energy to. I don't need. I don't have the capability to fit anybody's societal expectation of me right now. I don't feel. Um, and I absolutely can fake it. I absolutely can fake it till I make it. Um, you know, and that means do fake it till I make it. I can't even do that right now, but I can fake it to get through things and functions and do my best and look my best. Sometimes when you see me, it's on no sleep. Sometimes when you see me, I've slept for 3 days, but I need to start getting this figured out where, you know, rest rest is not always healing, and I need to turn that healing into that resting into healing. So I'm going through this process, and it is, and I've heard Renee Mo from the United Way talk about it, and I know I have it saved on my page here somewhere, but talking about toxic stress and how there's a difference between toxic stress and how you function and executive functioning and stress and executive stress. And I get it. I don't just empathize with it. I lived it. I'm living it. you know? Ew. Yeah. I've been reading Job a lot in the Bible. That's just because, like, why? You should never ask why. But somehow, some way, I'm finding purpose through this. Okay, I'm done tired. I'm done. The lights are hurting my eyeballs, and that's why I wear stuff with caps a lot. It also too, like people say, oh, wearing a wig or something on my head all day, like that would bother me. But having chronic migraines, sometimes it actually feels good to have that cranial pressure on your head. And one thing weird I'm noticing lately, we got to talk about lymph. And I'm going back to occupational therapy. I'm starting this journey over of advocating for myself. Like, you cannot stop because I know that there are ways that I can battle what I'm living with without medications. And I just need to be the advocate and the person, and as well as the other people that work hard to try to figure it out, how to have things that insurance won't cover so that you can get the care that you need, that is not going to give you the side effects, the tiredness. Mostly that's it for me. That's a lot of it. Is I try to avoid whatever makes me tired. Um, Unless it's before I go to sleep. Like I have things very carefully planned out. I have them timed out. That's why medications always say, don't drive a car or operate machinery until you know how this affects you. And it does take time, and you have to give your body time to adjust and work with your doctor. Be okay to say this isn't for me. And for me right now, it is advocating uh, to have therapies, which I think are, women fought long and hard to get things like reconstruction and other things covered. And um, I think that, people that have been through traumatic things and major surgeries that and illnesses, that things like massage, lymph massage, all that stuff, that's not a luxury, and that should be covered. It really, really chaps my rear that, um, I don't know. I went a couple appeals with my insurance, so but took time, a long time, and that's part of my adulting that I'm doing right now is like working on like things like that. Oh, I hate it. Oh, I want to get to the fun part of life. I want to get to the part of life where I'm a cancer survivor and I'm just going to do whatever I want. And I guess I kind of do, but I don't. I don't actually take the time I need to feel better and heal. And I'm, it's, it is what it is. All right, y'all. Well, it's Sheena Collins. I just want to remind you that just because you don't look sick doesn't mean you aren't sick, and and that's the truth. And and self care is an important part to healing. It's an important part to rest. And I definitely know that I've let it go. Like I look at some of my videos, and right now the lighting is off, so I don't look too bad. But like that picture earlier that I posted, oh baby, ugh. Like I know this has made me tired. I finally found my concealer, but my black circles like aren't great. I haven't done my fingernails in a long time. Like I don't even shave my legs anymore hardly because it's hard. Like these are awful truths. So yeah, I don't really want to fit in a box of societal expectations because I kind of can't. And so, you know, so I've been doing me. All right. Well, that's it. I thought I'd come on live because I'm feeling like creating. I've been creating for the fundraiser Unite Way, doing my thing, the videos, and that helps me feel good. That is actually part of my healing right now. And is that creating and enjoying it. And yes, so, ugh. My teeth have all shifted since chemo. I did all that dental work because of my headaches, and my teeth are causing me headaches right now. I don't know what we're gonna do. I have a dentist appointment in May, and once I get done with that, I have to call the orthodontist to make an appointment. um, I need new retainers, and I need to figure out like at night. I think I need something at night and I've even found myself gritting my teeth and grinding them during the day, and that's like no good. I can't do that. So that's why I've worn down my teeth from grinding my teeth over the years. Yeah, and and that's actually how I started it. Trying to treat my migraines was through acupuncture and also through orthodontics. However, at the time I had the capabilities to do that, and you reach a point when we're really all just one illness away from being desolate, and it's the truth, especially cancer. All right, I love you all. I'm coming here to say keep on going. Hi, Holly again. I'm coming here to say, do your thing, stay being you, don't give up, and just you have to somehow figure out how to manage it all. Especially if you feel that life has to be bigger and greater than the suffering where you're living at. And that's how I feel. And why is my dog whining at me? She's whining because she doesn't want to come in here near this stuff. But the other one I haven't pushed away earlier. So anyway, all right. That's it. It's Sheena. Those are my random thoughts for the day. Creating lately, I know I was taking a break and stepping away, but I really thought, no. And I was frustrated because of the earnings on Facebook, and I needed to make a business decision, not an emotional decision. And so I decided that having the blue verified badge was not warranted or worthwhile for the budget when I'm earning 33 cents within 10 days. That's not cutting the mustard. So anyway, all right, y'all. Well, happy it's Wednesday, and that's yeah. But I've about had it for the day. I've done a lot, and I'm glad that I pretty much kind of put myself together and started to, do things. But they weren't crazy. They weren't be forced to be cleaning the house, anything like that. I just left it, and I created today. I talked to my doctor. I did my creation. I posted across social media. Um, I did things that I do to rejuvenate myself, and that means being part of a community. My Wartburg community right now. Um, that means exerting as little as I have to anybody else's demands, into putting down projects, to saying that some of that adulting that I need to really do and some of that working I need to do, that I can't get over this cold, so I know that I'm not getting the actual rest I need and I need to do it. So there's that realization as well, because I don't want this to like turn into something worse. All right. I've talked about a lot tonight, but you're always going to get that when I just talk. So I changed my title to a personal blog. I said public figure because I put my crap out here all the time. I'm like my own personal National Enquirer right here. Um, but I changed my page to a personal blog because that's really what this page is. It's a personal blog of my life, and it's meant to help others. So marking myself as a public figure, that didn't get me anywhere. Not that it was ever meant to, but that's since I spoke publicly, that's how I looked at that. I mean, I'm Gen X, I'm 51, so bear with me here. But I believe that this is a personal blog, and it has been and always has been. And I'm glad that we can put that now. And I don't have to put digital creator, because I really don't want to be a digital creator anymore. Like I said, the earnings. And you could argue on the other side. Well, if you created the content all the time, you could blah 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 blah. Well, I have other life that I'm trying to do. That's real life, and if I don't do it, like, it's going to be problematic. And I really want my life to be better, and so I have to do these things. That's going to help with the toxic stress. That's going to help restabilize my nervous system. I'm ready to get to healing, man. Not just, like really healing. All right. It's Sheena Collins. Comment, follow, like, share, all that good stuff. Drop me some love. I see you people looking at my posts. Nobody ever likes. Nobody ever hearts. That's all right. I just hope whoever needs to see this gets to see the part of what they need to see pops at them. That's what I hope for. That the message reaches who it needs to. All right. Speaking of that, I'm gonna go take off my hat, my hair, my makeup, and I'm already in my hoodie, so that's comfy, and I already have sweatpants on. But yeah, I'm about ready to. I would give you the last reveal of my hair like I did the last video. Maybe that should become my trademark at the end of every video. Who knows? But yeah, I need to go to the orthodontist. I need to figure this out. I need to see the dentist, and chemotherapy has done weird things to my bones, and so. All right, y'all. Peace out. Signing off. All right. We're going to shut down YouTube. Okay. Are you sure you want to stop?